Good evening, everyone. This is Chris Wood with No Ordinary Huddle. We know it's been a minute, but we are back at it. As you know, I always jump right into my guests first because the show is about them, not necessarily myself. Even though I'm Chris Wood and all that, it's really about my guests. So I'm going to go through and have each one tell us their name and who their team is and how long they've been a fan of their team. We'll start with Amanda first.
Hi, I'm Amanda, also known as Lions Calavera. I'm a Detroit Lions fan, and I've been a fan ever since I was a little kid, since about 1991. Thanks, Barry Sanders, for that. Just die hard, love my Lions, and this is our year. That's all I have to say.
All right, then we'll go Christy and then we'll go with Nicole.
Hi, I'm Kristi. I'm diehard Baltimore Ravens fan, tattooed on me all year round, 365 days is Ravens, Ravens, Ravens. I've been a fan for about 15 years. I was always a football fan, but growing up in a football household with Giants and Jets fans, I always wanted to find my own passion team, and I just fell in love with the Ravens. And if you know me, you know it's all about Ravens from head to toe.
All right, Nicole.
Hello, ladies. My name is Nicole. I am a diehard Buffalo Bills fan. I have been a fan probably, I would say, over 30 years. Survived all of those losing Super Bowls and continued to stay the course with my home team. So it's nice to meet everyone and looking forward to it.
And as you know, I am a diehard. I mean, I don't even know if I have to say it, but we may have new listeners. I'm a diehard. I'm a diehard Raiders fan since probably before I was born. Just Raiders. Period. That's it. I mean, I support the other teams and their players and stuff like that, but we already know we're the only nation, so that's all that needs to be said. I mean, pretty much. We're all that in several bags of chips, but you know. We'll get into that another time. All right, so I actually want to ask you guys because we've had a lot happening throughout the off season. So we're going to get into that a little bit, in a little bit. Wow, in a wow. I've been drinking. No, I haven't.
It's okay. It's Thursday.
look, look at Amanda. No, we're going to get into the off season a little bit, but I want to ask you guys because as a female fan, I want to get into this first this time. Normally we save it to the end. What is something you want to let the fans know as a female fan, like the first thing you want to tell them before we start this show, something that whether it's male or female, a good bit of advice for a fan. We're going to go Nicole, Amanda, Christy.
As a female fan, been a long-term fan. I always grew up talking and hanging out with guys. And that was one thing that when I first met my husband, like we would never fight over watching ESPN or any sports channels. And I feel like we are at the table and we have something to contribute. We understand, we listen, we do some research, we pay attention. So just don't let our gender affect our ability to have, meaningful conversations about the sport that we love.
Great advice. Amanda?
Gosh, I don't know that I could follow that up. I mean, I feel like that pretty much sums it up. That was just verbally, I feel like on point. And really my sentiment as well. I mean, as a female fan, I just think it's important for us to be just unapologetically ourselves and to just be vocal and be heard. And, we love the game just like everyone else. As a female, I think it's important that we do speak up and let other females know that we're here and we love our teams and we're very proud of that. We love sports and, it's like I said, it's unapologetic. I can be myself when I'm watching the games and when I'm watching sports. It's part of who I am. It's just, part of my spirit is how I like to say. And, I love to see that females are stepping up recently, even, and I feel like more. And the NFL is giving, I feel like us a voice a little bit more, especially through more gear and just the ease of access for women to be involved in sports and in media. it's so important for us to our voices to be heard. And I'm really glad that we get to sit here and be representatives of that. Because, how many young girls are out there that, think that football is just for the guys and it's just for them to do. And that's really not true. I mean, it's for everyone. Football is for everybody, every single person out there. It doesn't matter what your gender is. I love how the NFL and how just sports in general get to have that ability to embrace each and every person, no matter who you are around the world. There's so many options for people to have their own team and their own fan base. You get to choose, what your favorite color is, and what you love and what you relate to. So it's just a proud moment, I feel like, for women everywhere, that we get to really stand up and speak up for ourselves and really show that we are here to stay, and we've been here. It's not a new thing. We've been around for years and years and years, and we don't plan on going anywhere. So I'm really proud of that fact.
What about you, Kristi?
As a female fan, well, these ladies summed it up, but don't ever let a man say that you don't know football, you're a female. Don't ever feel like you can't be a fan as a female. I'm probably more of a diehard fan than half the males that watch NFL. But as a female fan, even if you're not a fan, let him watch football. Let these females around the world be, who they are, their spirit, their energy. There's so much attire for females, and even just generally loving the sport, and as a female fan, sometimes I see females who want to like a team or learn football, and just embrace teaching other females that are just coming into the football world, or and if you're a parent, get your kids involved with sports. And my daughter's become a diehard Jets fan, and I never turned her away. I wanted her to find her own identity within the NFL. And even your younger sister or someone, embrace on having more female friends, watch the game and do things regarding, NFL. And if it's not football, find your passion in a different sport. I know people who are diehard basketball fans, diehard baseball fans, it's a great hobby to get into.
And I'll just add to that. I mean, for me personally, I really don't discriminate whether it's male or female, but I've found as a female fan, guys, a lot of times, when we're talking football, do not be condescending, especially to me, because I'm gonna drop down some stats that you probably never heard of, and you're going to be embarrassed. And it's not to do it to be cruel, it's for you to understand, don't do other females like that. Because I feel like that I can take up for myself, but there are other females that love the sport that maybe are not as aggressive. So let's just embrace everyone, because we all love the game. And half of you guys is probably your mom that probably put the football in your hands, that took you back and forth to practice all these different times, because that was the times back then. So let's just appreciate each other as fans and celebrate each other as, because we all love the game. I mean, it's really just what it boils down to. So let's just do that. Next, we're going to jump into the off season. I know the Bills, you guys have been doing some, I don't even know, some shenanigans. You guys have really, yeah, you guys, I'm catching up on everything because I'm a little bit behind. I'm like, okay, you know what? I have to get like a dictionary and a thesaurus, and then I have to get Cliff Notes just to break down what all you guys have done this off season. So I'm like, wait a minute, who did what with who?
Yeah, they've been busy. They've been busy.
So we're gonna go with Amanda, because you guys have made some pretty nice, especially with Campbell. I love to see that you guys have made some nice moves as well, and St. Brown. But I'll let you get into that. We're gonna go Amanda, Kristi, and Nicole. How do you feel? You could probably speak about some of the season off changes that you loved, and how do you feel about your chances with what you've done so far? Amanda, Kristi, and then Nicole.
As far as the Lions go, as a fan base that we haven't really won anything last year until 1957, with everything that happened last year, I really have no complaints. We say it all the time: in Brad we trust, and Dan we trust. Because at this point, for the last few years, we really haven't been, they haven't done us wrong, really. Every single draft pick that they've made, every single personnel decision that they've made has really just impacted our team on a level beyond compare. I mean, if you look at the guys that we picked up in the last few years, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Hutch, Terry and Arnold this year in the draft, I really just see like an endless potential for our team right now. And after going through so many years of heartbreak and rebuilding over and over and over again, I don't want to be emotional, but it's such a good time to be a Lions fan, and it's a really proud moment for us. So I don't cry at all. This is crazy, but just talking about it, that's the pride that we have in our franchise and our teams, and I'm just so excited to see what we do this year. I'm still a little hurt from how last season ended. Man, I feel like we really had that almost in the bag for us. It still really hurts. We're still a little, at least myself, I'm still a little bitter about some decisions. As you can see, my Decker reported eligible shirt that I'm still sporting right now. There was some things that did us dirty last season. But I really do feel like even today, Brad Holmes' sentiment of, we're here to win the Super Bowl. I think that that's the attitude that we have to have. I think that losing to the Niners after being up so much in the first half of the playoffs is only going to just drive us more this season. I mean, the only way that we can go is up. I mean, we were one game away from going to the Super Bowl, which we've never done in our franchise history before. We have NFL championships. That was before the Super Bowl, and half of the teams in the NFL were even created in 1960. So for us to come that far just speaks to the sentiment of what Dan Campbell, what Brad Holmes have done in the past few seasons. And I just am so excited to see what this season's going to bring. I think that it's just motivation for us to go all the way. And I can't wait to see just the city of Detroit. And when it does happen, just how overcome the fans will be. Because if you looked at us when we won the NFC championship, and when we won the North this past season, everyone was in tears. Everyone was, excited. I can tell you from the first game last season where we beat the Chiefs at home, I was there in person to witness that. And we knew from that game that was our season. We knew that big things were going to happen that season, and they did last year. And, we've been getting increasingly better every year. And so I think that this is the year that, we prove that we're a Super Bowl caliber team now, and we've made the moves in our franchise. We've gotten rid of the trash and thrown it out. And we've got guys on our roster now that are really driven to make it happen, not only for themselves, but for the city of Detroit. And I can't wait for them to win a Super Bowl and get paid and just be history, a wonderful bit of history for the Detroit Lions franchise. There's no other way I can say that. It's going to be a history-making season for us.
Okay. What about you, Kristi?
So I want to first start off by saying rest in peace to Jacoby Jones and Coach D. I feel like the Ravens really, are going to strive with dedicating the season to them. Jacoby Jones was such a big impact on our organization, on our team. I'm going to probably tear like Amanda did. I feel like we were gypped our championship game because of Mahomes. And I feel
Okay, so
like
but that, we'll do a recap. This is just how do you feel about the off-season changes?
I love the Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson duo. I think that they're going to be a really strong force. I love the people who Eric DeCosta draft. He never goes wrong. Wiggins, Wallace, he never goes wrong. I love that they're making Lamar, basically be in charge of the offense, the offensive line. Lamar's choosing, this is how I want it to go. Like Amanda said, the passion, I just feel like, with the Ravens that, the momentum's there. Lamar deserves his ring. Lamar is, in it. He got MVP twice, and I just feel like this year we're going to dedicate. And as long as we can, stay focused with the offseason changes and with our new draft picks, and Flowers is getting even more, better with the wide receiver part. And just, we have Roquan Smith still. So I think our defense wins championships. I really feel like defense is going to get us where we need to be this year.
Okay. What about you, Nicole?
I'm just gonna call the Bills the Merry Maids because I have never seen so much cleaning of the house. I swear. When I tell you, there is no way, and I'm like subscribed to alerts and stuff. I'm like, okay, this one is signed, this one is released, this one is signed, this one to the practice. It's a lot. It's a lot. I feel like I have I won't say low expectations. I don't have any expectations for this team this year. I think there will be a lot of players who can establish an identity because the expectations I feel like around the league have diminished quite a bit because there are so many changes and we lost so many veterans and so many key players. As a fan, you get really close and connected to the players and it's hard to see them leave. And they really, for a good 7-8 year run, they had a core group of guys that were just like family and they were so community minded. But across the board, even coaching staff changes. It's just like, who is my team? What are we going to do? I watched the draft, and I think Detroit hosted the draft. It was awesome. I stayed up the first night, and I'm like, okay, so these jokers not going to pick nobody? Like, I'm really? It was hilarious. So I have no idea what the team is going to be like this year. I don't know what their identity is going to be. I feel like a lot of games that are on the schedule this year are going to have some undercurrent of rivalry. We got a
Right, but
tough stretch of road
right now,
games, and
I
yeah,
hate to
it's
interrupt you,
it's
but
gonna be
right now
different.
we're just yeah, that's gonna be later in the predictions. Right now, we're just talking about the off season changes because that's gonna be in the predictions. I'm gonna have you guys predict. Remember we did we did this last year with the predictions as far as the schedule. But Nicole, remember I did say that Diggs is probably going to be gone, which I think he lasted like 2 years longer than what I thought he would last there. I feel like he would have
Yeah,
been gone before. It was just time for him to go.
yep.
Now, as far as my Raiders, man, like I said, put me in coach at this point because I feel like I'm gonna be suiting up. So I'm about ready to move to Vegas. If you guys see me going live from Vegas, you already know I'm about to suit up. I'm about to suit up and go in the game because I love Minshew, but I'm one of those people that's like, don't talk about it, be about it. We're talking all this trash and stuff like that. I feel like we made some great moves in the off season, but at some point in time, it's time to shut up and show. I think Minshew is the quarterback. If we continue to put the pieces together like I see them going, I think we're going to be okay. I do love some of the changes that we made off season, some not so much, but I think we're right where we need to be going into the 53-man roster. I really feel like we're there. So to
How do you
piggyback
like
off
you guys as coach?
who,
Your coach.
look, if you can see right now, you can't see me, but my
We
eyes are
can't
literally
see you.
rolling in the back of my head. Like I tried to tell people, I did not like you guys know I did not particularly care for McDaniels. Like he did not get any invites to hang out with me and paint our toenails. He's just not my guy. AP, I do like him as a hype man. So basically, if I was a rap artist and I was gonna need a hype man to hype me up on stage, I would pick AP. To coach defense, yes, he's my guy. To run offense, not so much because I do feel like that last season there were times when he was on the sidelines. I wanted to give him some Kleenex because to me it looked like he was ready to cry, like his face was all tearing up and stuff like that. So disgusting. You can't be on the Raiders. There's no crying in football. They're certainly not in baseball, so you know it's not in football because it's a contact sport. So as much as I love AP as a person, and I love his persona because I'm like an old school Raider to where we're that smash mouth football, bruh. No, I would have given him a 1 year deal, and I'm gonna say it again for the record, like I've been saying, give the guy a 1 year deal. You talk a lot of trash, you talk a lot of shit. You see what I'm saying? But what are you doing? You couldn't even, against Minnesota Vikings, the quarterback was talking trash. We couldn't score a touchdown to beat them last season, and you let them beat us in the preseason. No, thank you. You ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get the heck up out of here. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about the coach. I mean, he's cool and stuff, but I would have given him a 1-year deal to be like, okay, show me, you talked all this trash, got your chest all puffed up and stuff. Let me see. I would not have given him longer than that. I would not have. You're talking too much. You're all up on the pages. Where are my players at? Show the players. I'm paying, no, I don't like coaches like that. I don't. How do you guys feel about your coaches? We're gonna go Kristi. I know you love your coach because I love Amanda's coach. I'm trying to sneak him over. So we're gonna go Kristi. We're gonna use the spirit fingers with that. Kristi, Amanda, and Nicole. How do you feel about your coach?
So I love John Harbaugh. I really do. I'm sad that we lost Mike McDonald. Coach John Harbaugh just gives the players like the option. Like he will say, Lamar, what do you want to do? And John Harbaugh, we've been rocking for years. He got us to a Super Bowl. I feel like our new defensive coach. We just lost Coach D, our offensive line. So I'm trying to, wait patiently to see who they're replacing him with. But John Harbaugh.
Right now, we're just talking about just the head coach.
John Harbaugh, I love him. I think he knows what to do. I think he, calls great plays. Sometimes he'd be pissing me off a little, but with the 2 pointers, trying to be greedy. But I get it. But I just feel like he's gotten us to, championship games. We've never, so I like him. I love him.
What about you, Nicole?
I'm gonna wait and see how this year pans out. The one thing he did decide this year was announced yesterday that he was not going to be calling the defensive plays. I felt like that was a bit too much for him, that he needed just to focus on coaching. You have all of these coaches underneath you. Your job is kind of to guide them, but not take over. You trust them to do what they're hired to do. So I was happy to hear that he did decide to give up calling defensive plays, although he's a defensive-minded coach. I would like to see more of a motivator from him, but he's always been extremely stoic. But we'll see how this year pans out with him just focusing on his head coaching role.
Yeah, we're gonna see. So, how do you predictions? How do you see? I know Nicole says she's up in the air, but we're gonna get on record. We're going to get on record about how she sees her teams finishing up. So Amanda's like, yes. So we're going to go Amanda, Nicole, Kristi, and I'll give my prediction maybe because this guy, man, this head coach, I don't even know. But I'll hopefully put my thoughts together before it gets back to me. So Amanda, Kristi, and Nicole, how do you see what record do you see you ending up with at the end of the season?
Oh man, record wise, I would like to, at least have 11 wins. I would like to have, 17 wins, but, I'm not going to be a crazy person and say we're going to be undefeated or anything like that. I'm not a psycho person. But I would love that 11, we would go.
11, 6?
I would say 11, 12 wins. I think that we have a really strong team this year. And like I said, I really do think that we're heading to the Super Bowl. I think that that's the only option that we have for our team this year. Our GM has spoken it. Dan Campbell, our head coach, who's amazing, has spoken it. That's the goal, right? I mean, I think that's the goal for everyone's team is to make it to the Super Bowl and win. But I think for us, that's our ultimate goal, and that's what we have our sights set on, and we're not going to accept anything less than that.
So you're 11-6. So we're going to say 11-6. Last year you guys were 12-5. Okay, so we're going on to Kristi. Kristi, last year you guys were 13-4. What do you feel like you guys are going to do this year?
Well, in my dreams, 17-0. But realistically, I'm going to give them 14-15 wins. I think we have I think Lamar and Derrick Henry are going to do something on that field, and I'm going to say probably 14-15 wins.
14-3. What about you, Nicole?
I'm going to do 11-6.
That's what you guys were last year.
I'm optimistic, 11-6. And, I'm looking at your panel tonight, and I'm like, we faced both of these teams this year.
Yeah. No,
How cute.
I know we have Kristi in next month. Next month. I forget it's not September yet. Last year we were 8-9. Jesus, take the wheel at this point because I don't even know. Oh my gosh. I would like to say we're going to be 10-7 because I realized with the Vikings we couldn't even score 3 points, and I guess I'm going to have to take a flight when some of these games and just suit up, and y'all see me sneaking on the field, you already know. Maybe I'll be number 0. I'll let you guys know what number I'll be if you see me sneaking on the field, but I think we're probably going to be like 10-7. We might, to even go with 11, it's like I'm straight smoking something to even say we're going to be 11 wins. It would be nice, but I don't see it. I think we're going to be 10-7, and I think this will probably be the first season in forever that since, we did make the playoff, whatever. I feel like we might be able to look like we can wear some playoff gear this year. Consistent, have something nice to put on that Monday after playoffs. I'm thinking I might have to design something for that, but I think we may do okay. We might do okay with that. Now we're going to skip on to something I like to call, what is the NFL smoking? Because we have such things as dynamic kickoff.
Don't get me started.
Now, we're going to talk about this. We have the onside kick we'll save that for next. The hit and tackle, we know we don't like that because players are getting hurt. But I like the word dynamic, and I'm doing the spirit fingers. Dynamic kickoff. Now, for those listening that don't know what that is, this is it. The kicker is on their 35-yard line. The opponents are on their 40-yard line. Now, this is where it gets tricky. The ball must land in between the 0 and 20-yard line, okay, for it to stay there. Now, if the ball lands between 0 and 20-yard lines, if I'm the opponent, I can pick the ball up, but that's pretty much it. That's where the ball is going to land, right? Now, if the ball lands in, placed in the end zone, let's say it goes into the end zone, that means the ball immediately moves to my 30-yard line because it went into the end zone. You got it so far? Right? So, and then the last part of this rule is if the ball lands, it's tricky with the 20-yard line because the ball does not reach the 20-yard line. It immediately gets placed on the 40-yard line. So basically, the ball is going to end up on the 30-yard line without even a run back. Basically, if I get the ball, there's no point in me running it back because the ball is either way going to end up on my 30-yard line or 40-yard line. Right? Is that what that means to you? We'll go Nicole, Amanda, and Kristi.
So I'm kind of guessing that they don't want people to run the ball back. It's almost like self-checkout for the kickoff.
Well, like I said before, remember now the NFL is focused on high offensive games because high offensive games gets people screaming. So that's what they want.
Right.
So
right.
In my mind, I'm thinking that if the ball goes into the end zone, right, and it automatically gets moved farther down the field, that means that someone has a chance to score a field goal or a touchdown. So if you get the ball, like if the ball lands, if you don't do a fair catch, you catch the ball, you can advance the ball. But the thing is, you have to realize, does it make sense to advance it or not? Because if you don't advance it, either way, it's going to land on your 30-yard line or your 40-yard line. So you have to have a really precise kicker to get it between the 0 and 20 for that ball to stay there. Because if it
And
goes into
and
the
the
end zone,
receiver to know exactly what to do with all of these rules, because it's always muffed and turnover, and I caught a fair catch. No, I didn't. Somebody get a penalty. Like it's always some shenanigans with that altogether.
you got to be clear. So, what about you, Amanda? How do you feel about the new rule for the dynamic kickoff?
Well, I look at it this way. So this rule came about and was taken from the XFL or UFL because it was tested in the last season. It speaks volumes that they even went back to the old kickoff rules. They don't even use this rule any longer. They tested it for a year. It was terrible. So they went back and they don't even use it anymore. But the NFL adopted it, even though where it was originated from was stricken down. So I think it's going to be terrible. I think it's going to cause so much debacle this season. I'm not looking forward to it because I think really at the beginning of the season, you're just going to have players just confused about what they can and can't do as far as when you're playing a ball anyways that's in the air, you're not going to be able, I think, to judge it accurately on where it's going to land and where it's going to fall precisely anyways, unless you just have like a leg of gold, which there are amazing kickers out there, don't get me wrong, or punters. But
Do you
I
like
just
it?
see
Do
it
you like
being
it or not?
problematic. I don't
Okay. So,
like
what
it. I
about you?
just see it being problematic.
What about you, Kristi?
So, I don't like it at all. I feel like you grew up on it. It gets kicked and you run the ball. I feel like everyone's stacked now. Everyone has rules. It's like a puppet show. Like you could do this, you could do that, but you can't do this. And I feel like it's going to be boring. Like the kickoff is supposed to be exciting. Like, okay, let's run it back. And I feel like now everyone's there right when I just don't like it. Even with the playoffs,
Well,
everyone was commenting on it. I mean, not the
yeah, but
playoffs,
see, the thing is,
the preseason. It's more
so
so
the
people
thing is,
don't get
though,
hurt.
well, not necessarily. I think the hit tackle rule, that one is the one so people don't get hurt. What this one is designed to do is to keep people going into the end zone, because we all know we hate those games unless it's a really great defense. We all hate games to where it's just sloppy games to where there's no scoring, even though the defense is not that great. Now they're more offensively minded to where it's like, okay, if you don't run it back, we're going to pick you on the 30, 40-yard line, because then you have chances to either score a field goal. So there's excitement. I think I did the post like 2 years ago to where these NFL games are going to be faster. And the whole goal is to keep people in the end zone, to keep people in their seats, to keep people drinking, to keep people in these hot offensive games. So I think that's where the mentality is. And unfortunately, it's going to be tested for a year, and then they'll see if it stays in the NFL or not, because that's just what they do. The other rule that I want to talk about is the onside kick. I don't even know. Okay, so this one, if you guys don't know, for those listening, this one can only happen in the fourth. The only onside kick can only happen in the fourth. Now, if I'm going to do the let's say I'm the head coach. If I'm going to do the onside kick, I have to or my team has to let the other opponents know, hey, we're going to do an onside kick so they can prepare themselves. Now, it has to go at least 10 yards. The ball has to move at least 10 yards. And the last thing is, if I'm on the receiving team, I can pick up the ball, but I cannot advance the ball. Yeah. So basically, let me break it down with my Priscillaisms. What that's saying is, hey, I'm gonna have to run over here, run across here, and say, hey, let's play tag. I'm gonna kick the ball. I just want you to pick it up. Now I'm gonna try to finesse, but if I can't finesse, you still can't advance the ball anyway. Basically, that's what that's saying. So I don't know if this is Pop Warner that we're watching or what. How do you feel about that, Kristi? We're gonna Kristi, Nicole, and then Amanda.
Oops, sorry. I don't like it. I think that it's going to be designed where the other team knows what's happening.
Yeah, you have to before you do, when you're going to do one, you have to let them know before you do it.
So everyone's going to be prepared what's about to happen. the whole thing was the surprise and, to go for those points. And now it's like, it's scripted. Not scripted in that way, but like I said, everything's puppeted and everything's staged and everything's stacked. So it's just, it's not letting it play football as we grew up and what we know.
Exactly.
Well,
So what about
we
you?
all know how communication is in the NFL. Heads or tails. Oh, I'm declared for this. Oh, I'm checking myself in for that. How many mistakes are made when we do these kind of things? So I'm curious to see, is it going to be the
Do you like
coach's response? No, not at all. It like Kristi said, it takes away the element of surprise. That's the whole idea behind the onside kick, is to give yourself a chance to get another offensive possession and try to win.
Exactly. What about you, Amanda?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. I think as far as like strategy goes, I mean, that's always a part of like sports in general. You want to have strategy. It's hard to have strategy when you're basically telling the other team what you're doing, because there's no element of surprise. There's no, I mean, yes, there's talent there, but I think it loses its luster. I mean, I'm not a fan of basically giving the other team your playbook in a sense. If they already know what you're going to do, then there's really not going to be any progress there. So why even have a rule when it's going to be a stalemate at that point is how I look at it. It's just, I don't care for it at all.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it either. I'm okay with pretty much everything except for letting them. I mean, because of course it should go to. It's probably automatically going to go 10 yards. I mean, I feel like that's a given. I get that it should be in the fourth quarter because you're trying to win the game. Otherwise, you have plenty of time to do whatever plays you're going to run. What I don't like is, okay, so now I have to say, hey, I'm going to do this. So do whatever, do your best, because you already literally know what I'm going to do. There's only so much I can do as far as, trying to get the ball back or whatever have you. So I don't like that at all. It's, football is strategy. I mean, either we're going to play checkers or we're going to play chess. And if we're playing checkers, it's just stupid because it's going to be competitive. I want to see it competitive. I want them to be surprised and try to combat my surprise to them. Otherwise, if I'm telling them there's no strategy involved with that. And I love the strategy of the game. And I just don't like me having to tell them, hey, I'm going to do an onside kick.
Yeah,
That's
nobody wants to
ridiculous.
see the same play being played over and over and over again. That's essentially, you're watching someone calling the same play call for every single down. It's repetitive. It's terrible.
Exactly. So let's talk about your divisions. Is there any message that you want to send out to your division before the season starts? Like, what message would you tell the other teams that before the season starts? Are you coming for them, or you feel like you guys are going to be in the basement? What? We're going to go Amanda, Kristi, and Nicole.
As reigning kings of the North and queens of the North, I'll say for the female fans that are in Detroit, yeah, I think it's going to be a repeat year for us. I really don't see a whole lot of competition with the other teams in the North. There's of course, you always have Green Bay. That's right up there. I know that Caleb Williams and the Bears could make some moves this season. Nobody, really knows how he's going to play. Sometimes when you have those rookie quarterbacks, they come in that first year. A lot of teams don't know really how to play because they haven't seen that quarterback's play style. So there's always a chance, of them doing well just because no one really knows, film or anything on those guys to study, and they haven't played him before. So there's always that element of surprise. But I'm really not really threatened by our division this season, especially with the loss of J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings. I think that's only a better stepping stone for us to continue to get it done again this year. So I really, I'm sure Steve's going to be listening to this, and he's going to hate me saying that Green Bay's not a problem for us this year. But I'm really just that's my thoughts. I think that we're going to do it again. We're going to win the North again, and we're going to be on our way to the Super Bowl. So, they can have fun against themselves getting second, third, and fourth. But I think we're the reigning number ones still.
So for,
Oh, Michael.
so for those who don't know, she's talking about Steve Michael, who's in our group. He's not feeling well tonight, so I'm not sure if he's listening or not. But that's who she's talking about. He'll be on, definitely on the show. We'll have him back on with some Lions fans, of course, and some Bears fans, because that's what we love to do with Steve. But that's why he's not tonight, because he's not feeling well. The next person is going to be Kristi.
So as for my division, I don't see us being
While
threatened
we're
by
waiting for
anyone.
Kristi to come back, I'll do as far as the Raiders go, because we're waiting for Kristi and
Can you see
Nicole
me?
to come back on. My message is
I think that they're resetting.
Maybe because I didn't get kicked out, but her signal was going in and out too.
Yeah, I think there's
Yeah.
some technical difficulties happening, but
All right.
we'll just be patient. They'll jump back in, I'm sure, here in just a second. Lost connection.
Yeah, I just saw that. I know it's some
Oh,
crazy weather some places too today. So
that's the first time that it happened for the show. Let me add
I
to
in?
the stakes. Like kick this all out. So as I was saying for the Raiders, for us, I would just say to watch out for us, because we're coming for everything. We're coming for everything. If AP actually does what I see him doing, or in his mind what he would like to do, I feel any team that faces us, because it's going to be brutal. And I feel sad for that. I don't want any injuries or anything like that, but I'm not going to feel sad, for the other team. We're going to go Kristi, and then we're going to go Nicole.
You guys could hear me, right?
Yes. We're talking about the message to the rest of the division.
Okay. So I don't see the Steelers being a threat to us. I don't see the Bengals. Joe Burrow. I see that being exciting. And the Browns are in our division. I don't see them being a threat either. I think we're going to continue being, the top of this division. And I think that they're not in our division, so I won't even say that. But I just see, like I said, Lamar and Henry are going to do incredible things together.
What about you, Nicole?
Well, reigning AFC East champs for quite a few years in a row now. Last year was the year, if they wanted to get it, they should have got it. They gave it to us. Miami said, "Here you go," on a platter. So, early rumblings, it appears to be the Jets as a threat, but I am not swayed by old Aaron Rodgers and his little ankle and his little Achilles. The Jets do have a very good defense. I'll give them that. But I still think the road has to come through Buffalo. So we have been the AFC East champs for quite some time. I don't know if we're ready to be dethroned, but I'm hopeful. I don't feel like any other of the teams are a threat. We seem to own Miami. I think New England is still trying to establish some things with their whole team and another new coach. So we'll see what happens, but I'm confident that they can hold down the East.
Well, like I said before, Amanda, I've been saying the Lions for I don't know how long. When people were like arguing with me, I'm like, the Lions, they're poised to put people notice. The Bills, I kind of feel like you said, I said before that I don't see Josh Allen as a championship quarterback. I couldn't, like a Super Bowl quarterback. He could be, but I don't know. I don't know about that. Lamar, I kind of feel like they missed out on the opportunity as well, but we'll see. We'll see, what happens, coming up. Do you have any messages for any of these teams, since you guys face each other, right? We faced the Ravens. It is what it is. So
I don't think we faced the Lions this season, and I think we do face the Bills September 29th.
You know what? I don't care about none of y'all. I don't. You know what I'm saying?
I don't care about y'all. Don't forget, we were AFC championships last. AFC, we were the top.
Kristi.
Yep.
Kristi, let me say it slow. I don't care about none of y'all. Now, this is where my focus is. I feel like we're gonna be highs and lows to where it's gonna be like, okay, we're gonna come out like we're gonna really show improve, and then maybe we may look like we probably shouldn't have suited up. But I do feel like we're gonna finish somewhere definitely more wins than last season, definitely more than 8 wins, because some of those are, I mean, power style. I feel like we are set to be better than we were last year. And then I guess we'll go from there at the end of the day. What about you, Amanda?
So I have a personal connection with the Bills. So that is a game that I'll be traveling to Detroit for this season. One of my very best friends, Ezra Castro, aka Pancho Villa, very well known Bills fans. So I do rep my sombrero in his honor. So it will make an appearance this year
Awesome.
at the Bills Lions game. So I always look forward to that one just because it does hold a very special place in my heart when we play the Bills. And the Lions and Bills have a huge history as well. I mean, the Bills organization, I believe, even wore our uniforms when they were first being started, when they branched off, one of our coaching staff branched off to help create the Bills and their franchise. So there is history there. I think it's going to be exciting. I think Josh Allen is an amazing quarterback. Unfortunately, I don't think he's had the right pieces around him, so I think it's going to be a challenge. But it's always exciting when we play the Bills.
Okay, so we're actually, I'm not sure what's going on with the connection, so we'll probably finish a little bit early tonight because it's like fading in and out. And I don't, as you know, I really, really love like my members of my group. And I want you guys to be able to hear and understand what they're saying, because they do always post a lot of knowledge about the group. We have great discussions in the group. So I don't want the connection to be fading now and you miss anything that they're saying, because they are amazing. I will tell you that. And that's why they're on my show. What about your message to the rest of the NFL? Like, if you had to put the NFL on notice right now, you're putting not the NFL, but the rest of the on notice. What would your message be for the rest of the teams? We're going to go Kristi.
Oh, it's fading out.
Can
you hear me? Oh,
yeah,
the connection's
yeah.
bad.
We're going to finish up probably in a couple of minutes, and I'll bring you guys back when. Yeah, I'm not sure why. I'll bring you guys back. Maybe it's a storm by me. I'm not sure. But I'll bring you guys back another time when we can, recap what we're talking about. So we'll do this, and then we'll do something else, and then we'll wrap up the show. But what is your message for the rest of the NFL?
For the rest of the NFL, it's going to be Ravens.
Yeah, the other teams.
Mahomes, we're coming for you. Kickoff September 5th. Mahomes, it's our revenge. It's our time.
All right. What about you, Nicole?
I say it every year, just buckle up and enjoy the ride. I look forward to some exciting games. And I enjoyed this group of women because I rooted for both of those teams last year. So I think I would say all is fair in love and football. We have our home teams and who's part of our hearts, but it's always good sportsmanship to root for other teams. So I just want a nice, long, healthy, happy season for all teams.
I just want to say one thing. It should have been Ravens versus Lions. I feel like that would have been the better Super Bowl.
What about you, Amanda?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually hoping for that same thing. I was hoping for Ravens Lions. Lions, Ravens game was very, very bad last season. I think that they had like 50 something points on us. So I was hoping that we'd actually play them in the Super Bowl just so that we could come back and make a name for ourselves. And going up against the best, which you always want to do. I think Lamar Jackson is an amazing quarterback. So I would have really loved to see that matchup. Maybe it happens this year. But I do really think that that's our goal this season, is to make it to the Super Bowl. I think every team that plays the Lions this season should be put on notice. We're kicking ass and taking names, if you'd like to put it in that sense. And I'm excited to see us only going up. I think that's the only way we have is to go up. So I'm ready to see that happen. And I'm ready to see all the fans this season and that come out and support all of their teams. I love to interact with everyone at the games, and I can't wait to tailgate with people and just, listen to people talk about their teams and their fandom. It's one thing that makes me really happy. That's probably one of the best things besides watching the game itself, is just getting to, see the football community and interact with fans from, all over the world, really, because there's international fans now too that are just stepping up to the plate. So I am excited for that this season, but we are putting every team on notice this season.
Now, as for I'll say it again. I don't care about none of y'all. I don't. We're gonna do what we do. And one thing about Raider Nation, what I will tell you, we don't even care. We rep 24/7, 365, and 366 when it's leap year. We're gonna wear black and silver regardless. So y'all can talk your trash and do whatever you want to do, and we're still gonna wear it. We're gonna do what we do. Hey, Raider Nation. It is what it is. We're gonna show you guys. Because we're tired of you running that mouth, what we, about us and our Super Bowls or whatever, back in the day, whatever. You're lucky we had the Super Bowls back in the day. Because if we wouldn't have been what we would have were back in the day, most of the teams that are teams now doing all the stuff you guys do, you wouldn't even exist. You wouldn't even be this prominent. So show some respect. Put some respect on it, is what I'm saying. So is there anything... I'm going to give you guys a chance to tell people how to follow you last, because I know, Kristi and Amanda, I know you have Instagram and things like that, and I want people to be able to follow you. But is there anything that I did not go over? We're going to come back, definitely, for sure. But is there anything briefly you want to talk about briefly before we sign off that I didn't go over? We'll go Nicole, Kristi, and then Amanda.
No, I'm good. I think this was a nice first start to doing your podcast and getting us back into football mode. And, I'm looking forward to that opener. I want Baltimore to get their revenge too. But yes,
okay.
I think you covered everything.
Oh, thank you. What about
everybody
you,
hates Kansas City?
Yeah, don't get me started.
Okay, so let me give you guys a new name. Going forward, it's not going to be Kansas City. It's going to be Team McDonald's. But go ahead, Kristi.
I think, I think you covered everything. I think this was a great start. I don't want to talk about the heartbreak of what happened to us last, our playoff game. I think we were ripped. But one segment I would love to do is the referees. Do you feel like referees have an impact on games?
Well, I think, I don't know if you were on that show, but I know Nicole probably was, to where I always talk about the referees and things like that. And me, I don't hold back, because at the end of the day, if they feel like what I'm saying is wrong, I'm going to show them the game where I was right. We can pull it up and watch it together. So this is my invite to the NFL. If you're listening to this, invite me. Because I'm going to pull up game after game after game after game, to where you had players taking their helmets off on the field, going to talk to the ref, and they were not penalized. But then if the Raiders went over and talked to the refs, we were penalized because we breathed too hard. And then you had players, we all know who it was, that were literally being held back from fighting the ref, and nothing happened to the ref. So we're going to definitely come back and talk about that. What about
I feel that, Amanda. I feel it.
I think Amanda just basically showed what she wanted to say.
Right.
So we're gonna wrap up the show, because, like I said, I definitely want to bring them back, and we'll do a longer show next time, to where we'll get into more detail about the rest, because we all know I love those controversial topics, because hey, that's just what I do.
Robbed.
So look, even the e-gals, I always feel, even the e-gals, we know the Eagles, the Birds, we can get into that as well, because there were some incidences that no one wants to talk about, but I will, because that's what I do, and we're going to have an Eagles fan on as well. Maybe we'll do a show like that of certain teams. We'll do a show with those teams. But we're going to go with Amanda, Kristi, and Nicole. Tell fans, who your team is and how they can follow you on Instagram, TikTok, and whatnot. Amanda, Kristi, and then Nicole.
Yeah, I'm Detroit Lions fan, also known as Lions Calavera. You can see me in my sombrero and face paint at game day with my poncho on. Vamos Lions, One Pride Worldwide. You can find me on Instagram, AD Carrington, or on Facebook, Amanda Carrington.
What about you, Kristi?
I'm Kristi. I'm on Instagram as KristiXO, diehard Ravens fan, also known as Ravens 365. It's always Raven season.
Wait a minute though. Is your Instagram XO1 though, or XO? Did you
It's
change it?
Kristi XO1. It's XO1. You're
Okay.
right.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
changed
because
it
I know
so
you.
much.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. Okay. What about you, Nicole?
I am a diehard Buffalo Bills fan. I am on Facebook as Nicole McClamb, and I am on Instagram as NIWNIMAC. And go Bills.
As again, this is Chris Wood. I have so many different aliases. I'm like, just call me Sybil at this point because I can be anyone at any time. I do want to shout out my admins, Kenneth Mann, who is Raiders Man 83, Dion Banks, who is Code Raider 65, who came up with my Raiders alias because I never had one. It is Badass Raiderette. It could be one word or it could be badass_Raiderette at TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And you can always find any of us in the group, National Football Lovers on Facebook, which is an awesome group. Shout out to my admins, mods, my group experts, because we really do have a great group. And all members on the show come from my group. We may have some special guests right now. I want to get my members back on because it's been too long since we've had fun like this. So we'll do a bunch more shows like this. And of course, I always have surprise shows coming up soon. Look at Amanda. But thank you everyone for joining. Look for us. I'm going to get a set night, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be Tuesday nights because we have members in our group that post their shows on Wednesday nights, and I don't want to interfere with that. I want to make sure they have their night. So it's looking like we're going to be Tuesday nights at 7:30, and we may have some special shows or like Friday, Saturday. But I'll definitely keep you tuned. Give us a follow on YouTube, Facebook. We're pretty much all over. No Ordinary Huddle. Just give us a follow to stay tuned and stay up to date on all the happenings going on. And as always, thank you to my guests. I'm definitely going to bring you back for a longer show, probably with maybe this month or September. Well, I guess September because it's already August is over with. So I'll be having them back on soon. So follow us. You know when these ladies will be back on. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great night.
Thanks,
Bye.
y'all. Go Lions.
Bye.
One Pride.